Thank you, Faith. Thank you, Faith. Welcome to all. So today the training is going to be on enhance your export visibility through social media. Let me shortly introduce you to the team. So we have Mr. Brahim Allali, who is our expert and who will be giving the training. Myself and Sonia Faubert are ITC based. We are working on especially market linkages and anything to do with agri-food. I'm an agri-food expert. So we will do the presentation. Mr. Allali will run through the training for us. And then at the end, we will have a Q&A session. So you could either write your question in the chat or unmute at the end of the presentation. Also, if you miss anything, the PowerPoint, the training, and the recording will be shared with you later on. So don't worry too much about it. Thank you for that. Mr. Allali, if you want to start.
Thank you, Frederine. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brahim Allali, and I'm based in Morocco. I'm a former professor at HEC Montreal. I used to teach international strategic management, and I retired from teaching in 2015 and came back to Morocco to take care of my own consulting and training business that I started many years before. I started it in 1993, and right now I'm a consultant in strategic development, international development, I should say. Then welcome everyone, and this afternoon I'm going to talk about enhance your export visibility through social media, and this presentation is going to be structured according to the following key points. I'll be introducing the most popular social media platforms. And after that, I'll be answering the question, how to choose your platform and build a social media strategy, how to create a compelling brand story to sustain and to underpin your presence on social media. What information should you share on social media? How to encourage client engagement, and after that, we'll dedicate some time to Q&A session so that you can answer your questions. Then it's as I said before, it's a webinar. Then I'm supposed actually to cover those points in less than 1 hour and a half. Then I cannot allow myself to go in depth of all the concepts and the tools that I'll be presenting. If there is anything of interest to you, then please ask a question or make a comment at the end of the session so that we can go back to it and we can maybe deepen it a little bit, or we can beef it up a little bit. And thank you for attending, and I hope you are going to enjoy this presentation on such an important topic, which is social media. Then as an introduction, I would prefer actually what I call outroduction in opposition of introduction, outroduction or introduction. Then the takeaway messages, the most important takeaway messages that I would like to emphasize in this presentation. Then the first one is that a lot of companies are getting aware of the importance of being present on social media, because if somebody sticks to the old way of marketing his or her products in a brick and mortar store, then they're going to miss a lot of opportunities, because a lot of clients or customers are not going to physically get to their store to buy the products, or to try the product, or to buy the service. Then definitely when you're doing business on foreign markets, then it's very important to have a presence, a kind of presence on social media, so that you can communicate, you can interact with your clients or your target clients or customers on, and you can convince them to buy your products and services. If not, if you are not doing that, then you're going to miss a lot of opportunities on your marketplace. Social networks are very important to communicate effectively and instantaneously with your target. They serve as well to generate leads so that you can spot some opportunities on the international market and you can prepare yourself to seize them. Then it helps business as well to gain visibility because nobody is going to stop at your place just inadvertently or by accident. Then you've got to increase your visibility on social media so that people can identify you, can find you, and can interact with you, and can get interested in what you are proposing as products and services. Then social media can help the company diversify its customer acquisition sources because people shop around and buy their products and services using different vehicles, different means. Some of them prefer to see the product physically and to touch it before buying it, but many others would buy based on testimonials and on recommendations. Then they buy online. And mainly if they are located in another place, they will not have a chance actually to come to your place and to visit your brick and mortar store and try your products. Then the only way they have to interact with you, to get information about your products and services and to buy your products and services is to do it online through one of the social media platforms that they use. Then we can infer from that that it's very important to understand which means, which vehicles are used by your customers and clients to find out about your products and services, then to be present on those vehicles and those means, which are the social media platforms. Then find out about your customers' needs and problems, and find out about which vehicles they use and which means they use to get information about your products and services, and the vehicles as well that they use to buy products and services, and be present on those platforms. This is actually the takeaway message that I would like to give at the outset of this presentation. Then social media platforms would help you improve your e-reputation and build a community of loyal customers or clients. By the way, I'd just like to, I'll be using a lot of, more of the time I'll be using, or most of the time I'll be using customers to refer both to clients and customers, because clients are for services and customers are for products. Then to avoid repetition, I'll be using customers to refer to two. Social media platforms as well would help you gather immediate feedback from internet users and adapt your products and services accordingly. They would help you as well collect expectations of your target audiences and try to adapt your unique proposition of value. What we saw in the second webinar, we talked about how to develop a marketing strategy by developing a unique proposition of value, UPV. Then collecting expectations of your target audiences would help you doing that. And they offer as well the advantage of enabling you to increase traffic to your website or to your e-commerce platform, provided that they are linked to it, because the most important thing is to have a strategy that would enable you to link all the platforms you are present on, and to do it based on a brand strategy, as we're going to find out in the in this presentation. Then here, as far as social media is concerned, we talk about social media optimization, which is the way you develop your presence on those platforms so that you can optimize your presence and you can link your presence on one social media platform with the others and with your website as well. Because a lot of people who would find about you on social media network would be enticed to visit your website and to find out more about your company, its products and services. Then the first question we're going to address here, what social media platforms are the most popular and the most used worldwide? Then today, as a professional, being present on social media is not a choice. It's a must do, which is very important actually, because to reach out to your customers wherever they are located in the world, you've got to be present on social media platforms, as I said. Then social media would help you actually show that you exist, okay, to be visible to your customers and to increase this visibility, because this webinar is about how to enhance your visibility. Then it's not just about being visible, it's about enhancing your visibility and improving it so that people can notice you, can be interested in what you're doing, and can be enticed to what you're proposing as products and services. And it can also build customer loyalty, because everyone visiting your company, visiting its website, visiting its pages on social media platforms and so on, they're going to find valuable content, and they will keep visiting them again and again, which is the purpose here, because it's very important to increase your customers' loyalty so that people can keep visiting again and again your pages. And these statistics show which social media platforms have most users, the highest number of users. And here, as of January 2024, Facebook was ranked first with more than 3 billion users, followed by YouTube with about 2.5 billion, and WhatsApp about 2 billion, Instagram about 2 billion, and so on. Then you have here the most important and the most popular platforms that people use. Then here again, one of the takeaway messages is not to be present on all those platforms, but to select the ones that are the most used by your own target customers. Then here, among the most popular and most used professional social media, we have Facebook, we have LinkedIn, we have ex-Twitter, the former Twitter, and we have Pinterest, Snapchat, Instagram. We put them all together because they're based on visuals, as we're going to see. You have YouTube and you have TikTok. And again, we have some others that are not here, but those are the most important ones when we talk about professional use. Let's start with Facebook. And Facebook is a generalist network with both social and professional emphasis. Then it's meant for everybody, but it has a segment geared toward professionals. And it has more than 3 billion users, as I said. And the most common professional uses of Facebook include posting company offers and promotions, talking about its UPV, unique proposition of value, general and targeted advertising, online sales, because many companies today sell their products prominently on Facebook, customer relationship tracking and after sales service, and organizing live conferences and webinars and so on. Then when we talk about Facebook, we've got to understand that Facebook is less professional oriented as compared to LinkedIn, but it has that denomination which is professional, which is geared toward professionals. Then as a user, as a member, you have the right to create your own professional page on Facebook. But to create your professional page, you've got to have a personal account. Then start by creating your personal account, and then to create a professional page. When you're creating a professional page, keep in mind that you don't have a lot of space to talk about your company, its products, its certifications, and so on. Then you've got to select the right attributes that you want to share with your customers or your target. Then talk about what the company is doing, which activity it is in, and preferably the mission of the company, which encompasses, when we talk about the mission statement, it encompasses in which activity you are, the main customers for your company, and your main competitive advantage that you want actually to put forward. And then you can share information as well about any certification you may have. If you have your capacity of production as well, you've got to mention it here and so on. And when you create a professional page, you're allowed actually to have access to these functions of Facebook, okay, that are not available to personal users. And here, as a professional, you have a professional dashboard to monitor what you are doing, to have statistics about who is visiting and how many people are visiting your page. You can manage your ads on Facebook and so on. Then you've got many functions that you can use as a professional to interact with your customers, to show what products and services you are proposing to them, and what would single out your company as compared to its competitors, why people should buy from you rather than from your competitors. And then here you should keep in mind that you can put text, you can put some visuals as well, photos and so on. But here, when we talk about text, usually it's less longer than on LinkedIn, but it's actually quite similar with regard to the requirements. Okay, then you can post something on Facebook and you can share it on LinkedIn, and vice versa. You can post it on LinkedIn and share it on Facebook, provided that your text is a bit formal, because it's less formal on Facebook, but it's more formal on LinkedIn. Then if you have a formal text that complies with the rules, you can share it on both platforms in the same time. And don't hesitate to use hashtags, because they give more visibility and they emphasize the most important keywords that would present you as a professional in those fields. Then if you have any keywords that are related to what you are doing, don't hesitate to put them there. And again, use visuals, because they give visibility. They give more visibility to your text, and they make it more vivid, rather than if somebody is reading just plain text, they're not going to be very attracted to it. But if you give some images, some pictures, they're going to entice more customers to read what you are proposing. LinkedIn is the most important professional network, the ultimate professional network. It has multiple professional users, including advertising, client, partner and supplier prospecting, talent search and acquisition, proposing live conferences and webinars, online course tracking. If you want yourself to attend some important courses, for instance, LinkedIn is proposing a series of webinars and series of training sessions that you can attend. Some of them are free of charge, and some others are, and some of them are actually require some fees to be paid here. You can publish company news, and you can create groups to exchange about something of interest to your company. If you want people to perceive you as an expert in your domain or in your field, you can create a group of people there, and this is a clue, an important clue actually, to create a community and to interact with that community. Okay, then many interesting features of LinkedIn that would enable you to get some metrics about who read your posts, how many people read your posts, how many people interact with them, how many people like them, how many people give feedback about what you're proposing, and so on. Then it's very important when you are on LinkedIn to create a professional page as well that is linked to your personal page. Then when you create a professional page, you should keep in mind that it's linked to personal page. Then a lot of people who are visiting your personal or professional page would be enticed to visit as well your personal page. Then you have to take care of it, present it in a very professional way, and in a way that is consistent with what you are putting on your professional page. Then people need to find something that would sustain their perception of expertise on your personal page as well. Then try to be consistent in what you are posting on your personal page with what you are personal on your professional page. Then in LinkedIn, you have the possibility of writing a lot of things about your company. Start with a kind of presentation, brief presentation, where you present your company, present its features, present in what your company is unique, what is your unique proposition of value, what are the most important features of the company, if it's certified, if it has some subsidiaries in other countries, if you have some franchises, if you have some licenses and so on, you've got actually to emphasize them in this presentation. And regularly, it's recommended to publish posts related to what you are doing so that you can give information, you can explain things, you can explain solutions that you are proposing. And this is your way to create value for people visiting your page. Then people, if they find value when reading what you are posting, would come back again and again to look for additional content. And they will be, again, attracted to what you are proposing, and they may visit your website and they start looking for information regarding what you are proposing and so on. And this is your way, your means to increase your trustworthiness, and people would look at you as an expert, as somebody who is trustworthy, because what you are proposing on your page is making sense to them, because they find themselves there and they find that you are proposing solutions that are appropriate with regard to what they are facing as problems or needs. Then don't hesitate to write articles and posts, even short posts, if you have anything to communicate, information about your company, information about your environment, information about the field you are in, and so on. And try to make the text formal, clean, and light, so people cannot be bored when reading your text. Try also to use hashtags, again, to emphasize the most important keywords that you want actually to emphasize with regard to what you are doing. And don't hesitate to post images and pictures as well, because statistics show, sorry, I don't remember the right statistics, but statistics on LinkedIn show that posts with images attracts more people and more viewers than plain text. Instagram is another very popular platform, okay, and it's based mainly on using videos and photos, in general visuals, to showcase your company's products or services, to share an experience, news, or even a moment of life. And here on Instagram, pictures and visuals in general are more important than text. Then you've got actually to be very aware about the text that you put there, because you don't have a lot of space to do in it. Then you've got to select the right features of your company that you want to share with your visitors. Then if the company is certified, for instance, like in this case here, the company, the production capacity of the company, and so on. And here you can again create your own professional page where you showcase your company's products and services and so on. Then you have two types of publications on Instagram. You have these square-shaped pictures which refer to a permanent publication that you want to keep there permanently or for a long time, as long as you want to keep them on your page. And you have stories that you share with your visitors so that you can inform them about what is going on in your company. You can share some photos, some pictures as well on there, and actually last for about 24 hours, and you keep them up front. And when you are publishing them, you see that you want them to be there for a longer time. And you can even sort them out using even a chronological order. Like in this case, you have many stories here published in 2024, stories published in 2023 that the company wants to keep here, accessible to its visitors, and so on. You can sort them out using topics, for instance. You can have here maybe, I don't know, maybe here logistics, here maybe quality, and so on. Then you can sort them out using one criterion or a few criteria so that people can find a logic in what you are proposing here. Then again, as I said, visuals are more important on Instagram than plain text. Then people pay attention more to visuals rather to text. But when you insert a text, try to emphasize the most important words. Like in here, we have quality, we have sustainability, and we have community, which are the most important keywords that the company wants to emphasize. And keep your text short so that people cannot be annoyed, because Instagram is visited mostly by people who are looking for visuals rather than for text. I invite Frederine, Faith, and Sonia to jump in whenever they have something to say to complement what I'm saying. Then feel free to jump in whenever you want, please. Platform X, former Twitter, has about 619,000 users in January 2024. It's a platform that is geared toward giving and sharing information. It's both informational and informative. And it's based on the conciseness of messages and the relevance of chosen words, because people have a limited space to share the information with their target audience. Then they have to select the right words to doing that. Then it is the preferred network for politicians, journalists, and leaders of opinion. Then if you want to target those people, you've got to use X. And to optimize your visibility on X, you provide quick information, okay? And when you find some important information on X, you've got to retweet it so that people can see you as being interested in that subject, and it can associate you with the mission and interest that you are retweeting information about. Pinterest, actually the same thing. It's used, it's based on visuals, and it's prioritized visual contents, as I said. It's suitable for professionals with a content focusing on visualization, like decorators, designers, estheticians, and so on. If you have something to show, if you have a handicraft man, for instance, or craftsman, you've got to use which it would be interesting to use Pinterest. Pinterest actually was very popular in North America, and it starts being popular as well elsewhere in the world. And in Pinterest, we find recipes about doing things. We find solutions or proposals of solutions that the company share with its targets so that people can actually be interested in it. And there are some call of action buttons that entice people to go somewhere else, mainly to the company's website, to find out more about the products or the service. Snapchat, the same thing. It's very popular among young people and among professionals whose content is visually based. Then if you target young people with visuals, with visual content, then this is one of the right or of the most appropriate platforms to be on. YouTube, very known, very used, about 2 billion users in January 2024. It was founded in 2005, and it's about hosting videos, and you can create your own channel if you have videos to show. Okay, videos would be about teaching something, showing how to use your product, showing how to use your service, answering a very important question that people are asking themselves about how to use your products or service, presenting and information and so on. Then it's very important actually to doing it because it's video-based. Then whenever you have something to explain using a video, YouTube is the right and the appropriate and the most appropriate platform to be on. TikTok, it's a newer platform. It was created in 2016, and it had more than 1.5 billion users in January 2024. It's very popular among Generation Z, like young people again, mainly on North America. In North America, where about 40% of Americans aged between 13 and 16 use it. Then it's a segment that is as big as the one following Facebook and Twitter. Then if you are targeting young people with videos and with visual content, then TikTok is one of the most appropriate ones. The second question that I would like to address here, how to choose a platform and build a social media strategy. We've seen a lot of popular platforms and a lot of popular networks, then which one to choose? Very important question. And more often than not, it's not a choice. The choice, if I can say, if I can use the word choice, is contingent upon a lot of criteria. And one of the most important criteria is to find out about which network, which social media platform your target uses to find out about your products and services and to buy them. Then this is the question, the most important question that would actually dictate the choice of your social media platform that you will have to be present on. Then choosing the right social media platform for your company. The right news here is that even if we have a lot of platforms, those platforms are different from each other and they are complementary to each other in terms of their missions, roles, objectives, types of users, and their professional users. Then you've got to choose your right platform based on those missions, those specificities, or those peculiarities of those platforms. Then it's not a real choice. Again, the choice is contingent upon all those criteria. And the most important criterion to take into consideration is what platform is mostly used by your target. Then here, among the selection criteria that you will be using to choose the right and the appropriate platform to be on is the type of market you are targeting. Then are you targeting businesses? Are you targeting people? Then B2C or B2B? Are you targeting customers that are using a specific channel or a specific platform? Then here, this criterion is very important actually to take into consideration for the sake of selecting the most appropriate platform. Your industry sector, okay, is very important as well, because you've got to find out about what your competitors are doing, okay? You cannot oversee the fact that you've got to be present where your competitors are present as well. Goals to achieve and message you want to convey to your prospects and clients, very important. Then where you can do it and in what way, because if you want to talk to them using video, use YouTube. If you want to use photos and pictures, then use Pinterest, Snapchat, or Instagram. If you want to use plain text, then the most important one is LinkedIn, and you can use as well Facebook, as we saw at the beginning of this presentation. Then the type of content you want to publish, time you can dedicate to the task, because it's time consuming. It can be time consuming to create a page and to put the right content and to adapt the content according to the peculiarities of that platform and so on. Then how, what time, how much time you want to dedicate to this task. And your technical skills, because a lot of people are complaining about not having the right skills, and it does not require a lot of technical skills to create a page. And there are a lot of videos showing you how to do that. And in each platform, in each social media network, you have a kind of tutorial to show it to you how to create a professional page, what to do it, how to optimize it, and so on. Then don't hesitate to navigate through to find out about what the chosen network proposes as help to create your own professional page. Then the budget available as well. Then most of the features are free of charge. Some of them are not free. Then you've got to pay something. For instance, on Facebook, if you want to place some ads, you've got to pay for them. If you want actually to go beyond what is proposed on LinkedIn, they propose to you a premium membership. Okay, then first they are going to propose it to you. They are going to propose a trial for 1 month. Then you've got to select it if you want it, and you're going to monitor how powerful, how impactful it is, how many people are going to be enticed to your website through LinkedIn, through this premium membership. And at the end of the month, you've got to decide whether to stay with the premium membership and to pay for it. It's a small amount, then you've got actually to take this into consideration according to what budget you have available. Choosing the right social media platforms for your goal. This is a kind of. Let me just conceal this because it's disturbing me. Choosing the right social media, you can use this matrix actually to compare between 4 important and 4 popular. I don't know what's the problem here because it takes me forward. Then to compare between 4 popular platforms. Then who to target, very important. Facebook would enable you to target large and generic targets. And among them, you're going to find some people actually belonging to the segment you want to target. X, you're going to target opinion leaders. Instagram, you're going to target mostly young and dynamic profiles. And LinkedIn, you are going to target professionals. And on each platform, you have to behave in a specific way. What to do on Facebook, you're going to engage with your media. you are going to like, to comment on, and share posts on it. On X, for instance, you're going to respond to opinion leaders' posts to attract their attention, and you're going to retweet what corresponds most to your interest. Instagram, then here, visuals again, and professionals, LinkedIn, you're going to reach out via direct messages and react to comment. You're going to create some groups to interact with your target. You're going to share posts and create your own posts and so on, okay? And sometimes you're going to use LinkedIn as well to give webinars and conferences and so on, and you can do the same thing using Facebook as well. Then social media, actually, to be effective on social media, we've got to create a strategy, a social media presence strategy. And this strategy would help you exchange, share, and establish your know-how and expertise with your target market, improve your brand image, and strengthen your identity, and also to get closer to your prospects and clients that may be located in another country. Then they can feel that you are close to them and they are going to interact with them virtually, but it's a kind of importance contact that is growing more and more in different countries. To do so, you've got to equip yourself with a true strategy, okay? And this strategy is going to give consistency to your presence on different social media. Then it's very important actually to have a strategy. And to have the strategy, you've got to ask yourself some basic questions like, what do I want to achieve, and how will that specific chosen network would help me? Then try to come up with answers, convincing answers to those two questions, and that would be a good beginning actually to be consistent on all the platforms you are in. Then you've got to define a clear vision about what you want to achieve and convert or translate that vision into SMART goals, measurable goals, specific goals, and so on. And after that, you've got to select the right network, and keeping in mind again that the right network is the one that is used mostly by your target. Then the present strategy, okay, stems from one basic assumption, which is knowing your target audience. Very important to start with knowing your target audience, knowing its needs, knowing the problems the target audience is facing, knowing in what the product or the service you're proposing is a solution that answers to those needs and problems, and which network is used by your audience to find out about how to satisfy their needs or to resolve their problems. Then very important to start by knowing, again, your target, knowing your audience, its problems, needs, and mainly the vehicles and the means that you use to find out about the solution to address those problems and needs. And once you've done that, you are going to find out that you are eliminating a lot of inappropriate social media networks that are not appropriate. Then you are going to eliminate them just by asking yourself those questions. What do I want to achieve? What solutions am I proposing to what needs? And what segment, what network is used by my segment or by my target? Then when you want to increase your visibility by having a presence strategy on social media, ask yourself again about how to optimize such a strategy. And monitoring that strategy would enable you to adapt your SMO strategy and your marketing strategy in general, because you will be spotting whatever going on in your environment, and you're going to adapt your products and services accordingly. If something happens in your environment that would impact negatively or positively the solution you are proposing, you will be able actually to adapt your offer, to adapt your unique proposition of value and to make, again, what you're proposing the appropriate solution for the problem or the need that you have spotted on your market. Identify and better target appropriate keywords to communicate about your company, its products and services. Then this is what the present strategy, in addition to what I said before, giving consistency to what you are doing on different platforms. This would enable you as well to analyze the strategy of competing brands on social networks and adapt yourself accordingly. If one of your competitors is proposing something new, then you've got to find out about in what it impacts what you're proposing, and you can adapt your offer accordingly. You will be able to better respond to the needs, problems, and expectations of your market, and you are going to increase your responsiveness. Then the time that you're going maybe to take to react would be shorter than if you don't know about what is going on your market. Your strategy must be able to follow these changes to stay connected with your target and adapt to their way of communicating, because again, social media is about communicating effectively with your target. Then to build a social media presence, you've got to define a useful, attractive, suitable, and varied content based on visuals, on written text, on audible podcast, playful content, informative content, and dynamic content as well. Then people who subscribe to your social media pages expect relevant, informative, and high-quality content. If you don't propose something that complies with those criteria, people would not come back to your page. If whenever they come, they find the same content, it doesn't change, you don't upgrade it, then they are going to stop coming back to your page. Then you've got to come up with something that makes sense, that creates value to visitors, that is relevant with regard to the problems and needs that they are facing. And the content should be high quality content. It should not be common sense solutions that you are proposing. And like, I think if you tell people, okay, whenever you are ill, you've got to see a doctor. And this is something that is common sense. People don't need to come to your place, to come to your page to find out about such recommendations. Then you've got to put high quality content that makes sense to your visitors. Be specific but consistent content, because as we saw, all platforms have their own peculiarities. Then they have specific features, and you've got to comply with those specific features when posting content on them. But all these contents, even if they're adapted to each platform you are present on, have to be consistent altogether. And this consistency, again, is given by a holistic, a comprehensive strategy that you're proposing to give consistency to what you're doing. Then when people visit your pages on different platforms, they've got to sense such a consistency, okay? It's true that you have a message that is given as a video on YouTube. You have an article on LinkedIn, but the key message is the same, okay? And people have to sense such a consistency. When they go to your website as well, they've got to sense such a consistency because people will be actually the trustworthiness of what you are doing would be increased. Then again, you've got to be very timely in what you're doing, and you've got to have a kind of marketing calendar which you indicate when you are going to post content on which platform, to say what to your target, to attain what objectives, okay, and to expect what kind of feedback from them. Then and don't forget to put call to action buttons in various locations on your pages so that people can be enticed to visit other pages and to visit your website and to find out about what you're offering. Okay, then, but be again consistent. Don't give people visiting your LinkedIn page that you are an expert in, let's say, international development. And when they come to your website, they find that you say you are an expert in family businesses, for instance. Then you've got to be consistent so that people can increase their trust in you, what you are offering, and they'll perceive you as an expert, as somebody with value that can help them solve their problems or overcome their needs, satisfy their needs. Then again, don't forget, as I always say, that we're talking here about social media or social networks. Then they are social in that they encourage exchange and communication and interaction between you, your company, and its target. And their networks, because it's about, again, creating links among community members, the community that you are striving to create. You've got to create linkages between that community members so that they can, again, be interested in what you are proposing. Then to do that, you've got to ask yourself questions about what you want people to perceive when adhering to the group you are creating on LinkedIn, for instance, okay? And to do that, when you create, for instance, a group on my LinkedIn page, I have a few groups that I created and that are in line with what I'm interested in and what I want people to perceive me as expert at. Then when you create a group, ask questions, basic questions, and invite users to respond to them. And give feedback and ask people to give feedback. Participate in exchanges. When somebody says something, try to come up with an expert advice, an expert idea. Give your expert opinion about it so that people can perceive you as an expert at what you are doing. Create discussion groups in your area of interest and try to moderate them so that people can find always valuable content and they can keep coming back to your page and participating in the group that you've created. Then by participating in exchanges on social media, you are going to increase your visibility, which is the title of this webinar, enhance your visibility, credibility and trustworthiness and expertise as well. And those people are going maybe to share and reshare what you are talking about when they find that there is value in what you are proposing to them, okay? And they are going to encourage other people to come and visit your website and visit your pages because there is a content of value. Then again, be consistent in your presence by communicating about your presence on one platform to entice people to go to the other platform, for instance. Then when you do something on a place, try to integrate some call to action buttons so that people can visit the other page, or they can visit your website and try to find out about your company. And if you have a newsletter, propose a newsletter with valuable content as well. Then to do that, one of the most important keys to sustain and enhance your visibility on platforms is to create a compelling brand story. And people love storytelling. People love listening to stories that make sense to them. Then create a story to interact with people and to, again, to entice them emotionally. A brand story is a narrative that communicates a company's mission, evokes emotion, and the word emotion is very important here. We're going to find out later on about it. And builds customer trust, because without trust, people are not going to buy from you. Customers who are moved by your brand story are more likely to count on your company and buy your products or services. Then A well-crafted brand story articulates a specific customer problem and offers a compelling solution. Then when you create a story, try to articulate it around two things: customers' problems or needs and the solution that you're proposing. In addition, it conveys a company's purpose and values in an engaging, inspiring way. Then your first step towards engaging your customers is by creating a compelling brand story. Then we're going to find out about how to do that. Then if you don't have a brand story, it's hard for people to get excited about you. Very important, actually, to entice people emotionally and to create that emotional connection with people so that people can find themselves involved in what you're proposing. You can identify themselves with the story you are telling, okay? You are telling them so that people can identify themselves with your company, with its products and so on, and they can perceive what you're proposing as being the solution to whatever problem or need they are experiencing. Then a compelling brand story should be authentic, and those are the most important conditions to have a successful brand story. Then if you are not authentic about what you're saying, the customer may sense that it's not authentic. It's something that you are faking, something that you're just fabricating just to entice them, okay? Then just to please them, then be authentic. It should be customer-centered so that they feel involved, because if they read your brand story and after that they say, so what? Then it's not very important, because people at the end of your brand story have to feel involved, have to identify themselves with the story that you've just told them. It must be based on the company's brand strategy. Very important, because you're not doing it just to tell people a story, an amazing story, or an interesting story. The story should be about what you're doing, about your brand strategy, and it should be articulated around two important things again: the problem or the need of your target and the solution that you're proposing. And you're going to structure it in a way that we're going to present in a few seconds. It must be consistent. It must be consistent across all channels. Then again, consistency is very important. Consistency is very important from one platform to another one. Simple, clear, with a few striking details. Okay, those are, again, some of the criteria for having a good brand story. Concise and straightforward. Then must not be long with a lot of stuff that is not relevant. Then keep it simple, keep it concise. Structured like a story. Then here we're going to tell people a story, and people like stories again. And I said earlier that when I was at HEC Montreal teaching entrepreneurship and teaching international strategic management, I published a small book, okay, of about 120 pages. That is a kind of novel, but the purpose was to initiate people to how to manage a company. But I did that like a story, and people liked it. And I used to ask my students to read the first chapter for the second session, and my students came back at the second session telling me that they read the whole book. They could not stop because it was a very attractive and very captivating story, and people could not stop reading it at the end. People like stories, and a lot of disciplines, a lot of fields right now publish even technical content like a story. You have Eliyahu Goldstrack, for instance, published The Goal, which is a book about production management. Okay, it's technical, but it's structured like a story, and people like it because it gives them a sense of what they are doing, and it corresponds to what they are living every day. Then storytelling is very important here. Then that's the purpose, is to communicate what you want to communicate to your target using a story. Then a compelling brand story would differentiate you from your competitors, would enhance consumer trust and loyalty, and would even compel them to identify themselves with the story, and it would boost sales. Okay, then to be effective, your company's brand story must go beyond purely relating simple facts. It appeals to human nature of customer and their natural need to communicate, because communicating is a natural need of human beings. Because as members of a community, human beings have to communicate. And some people say that the word communication comes from community, because people are community members and they have to communicate with each other. And that's why a lot of people say that the word communication has no opposite. Okay, and whenever I ask people what is the opposite of communication, some of them tell me silence. Silence actually is a form of communication. Then we don't have a right opposite of communication, because communication is something that has to be there. And as we say, when there is no communication, when you don't communicate, there are a lot of rumors that would take place. And this can be very impactful and very detrimental for the company. Then communication, and clear communication, is very important. Then to satisfy their people's need to communicate, you've got to tell them a story and you've got to interact with them. And this is what the brand story is about. It's not just about giving facts. It's about linking people emotionally and enticing them emotionally to identify themselves with what you are saying. Then how a brand story works. And the first thing, you've got to identify your target audience. And you've got to find out about the problem or the need that they are experiencing. And that's what I said as a takeaway message that I presented at the beginning of this presentation. You've got to know your audience and its problems and needs. Okay. After that, you've got to actually to weave your story about the solution that you're proposing. In what you're proposing can be a good solution to the problem, and connect emotionally with your people by telling them what kind of advantages they are going to reap from using your solution. And after that, invite them to take action by putting those call to actions everywhere in your page. Then to find out more, for instance, click on this button and you're going to take them to your blog, you're going to take them to your website, to another platform where you give more details about the solution that you presented in your story. And this would increase your visibility and would also convert more prospects into customers, and they are going to increase the profitability of your company. Then having a solid strategy that underpins having a solid strategy that underpins the creation of an effective and compelling brand story allows you to answer the following key questions. And what have we decided to do? And it's about your activity. Here you are weaving everything around what you are doing as an activity, as your principal or major or main activity. What value do we bring to the world? And more specifically to your customers? What differentiates us from other companies? Then what's our advantage? What our competitive advantage when compared to our other competitors? And if you remember, for those who attended the second webinar, when we talked about the marketing strategy, I said that your what differentiates you, or your strength, one of the most important strengths, has to pass the test, the value test, which is about the value you create for a company, for your customers, about the rarity of the strength, about the inimitability of that strength, and about the organization you have to sustain such a strength to make it a sustainable competitive strategy. What problem does our product or service solve, and who do we help? And the customers that we are targeting and what actions do we take that reflect our values. Then here, to build the brand strategy, there are a lot of frameworks, and one of them actually is to structure your brand pyramid. Structure it according to the brand pyramid by starting by describing the attributes and the features of your product as the first layer. Second layer, what your product or service solve a problem or satisfy a need. Okay, then what benefits the user or the customer can reap from using the solution you're proposing to them. Then emotional benefits, how the customer is expected to feel once they have used your product or service. And the brand or the product persona, describe what type of person is going to use your product, and here to increase the fine-tuning of your targeting. And the brand essence, specify why customers should care about your brand and keep buying it as opposed to your competitors. Then this is the pyramid that allows you to structure actually your brand, the brand story. And we have some other frameworks that we're going to see in a few seconds. Then visualize the fundamental attributes of your brand with the brand pyramid. That's what we said. And here we have actually the framework that we are going to use. But before that, I should call your attention to the fact that to create a good, compelling brand story, you've got to have your team with you, because it's not the task of a single manager or the company's leader to do it. You've got to be surrounded by people from your company, then create a team, conduct a brainstorming to get ideas about what you want to put in your brand story. And after that, choose one of the most important frameworks, one of those that I'm going to present. Then those are, this is a process of 6 steps to create a compelling brand story. And steps to write a brand story. Step 1, detail your target audience, who your target audience is. Step 2, focus your story around your target audience. Again, step 3, brainstorm using a storytelling framework, one of the 4 that I'm going to present here. Step 4, review and refine. Step 5, test with an audience and iterate. Okay, to improve it. And step 6, share your story strategically. Strategically means that you're going to look at the strategy of your brand. Then first, identify your target audience. Who is your customer? Then you've got to find out who is your segment. And you've got to target it very well, because it depends on how you're going to identify the problem or the need after that. If you misidentify your target audience, you may be putting a lot of efforts in doing things that don't have any sense, don't make sense to your target. Then are they established professionals? Are they owners of luxury cars? Are they owners of luxury chalets? And so on. Then you've got to find out who your ideal customer is. After that, you've got to find out about the problem or the need that your audience is experiencing. Okay, try to find out about where they are not satisfied and why they're not satisfied. Maybe because they don't find the right solution to address one of the most compelling problems. Why do they stay awake at night? What are they worried about? And so on. Then you've got to mingle with them, to interact with them, and to ask them basic questions to find out about the most important problems or the most important needs that you're going to target with your solution. Then focus the story on the target audience by asking yourself a question recommended by an article published in 2016 at Harvard Business Review that actually recommends to ask yourself this basic question. What's the job that your customer is hiring your product to perform? Because you've got to put yourself in a situation where you see your product as being something that customers rent to do a job or hire to do a job. If somebody hires your product to do a job and the job is not done correctly, the next time that customer is faced with the same problem, they're not going to hire your product, they're going to hire another product. Then consider yourself as being proposing a product to be hired by somebody to do a job. Then, and ask yourself what job would maybe motivate customers to hire my product for. Use a storytelling framework. We have many frameworks to structure your story, and this is very important. And here we have 4 frameworks, okay? And the purpose here is to structure your story in a way that is convincing, that is captivating, that would not let the reader to get bored. Okay, then you are going to use a framework to make it consistent and to make it actually flowing very smoothly. Then the first framework is what we call the hero's journey. And here we start with somebody who was a natural human, okay, normal human being who was living like everybody else. And something happens that pushes him or her to leave their comfort zone and to embark in a kind of adventure outside of their comfort zone to face that problem, for instance. Well, if somebody, for instance, is fired from or laid off from the company where he or she used to work, they find themselves jobless. And for making a living, they are going to find out about something else. Then they're going to quit their comfort zone and they start doing something, looking for some other solutions and so on. Then the hero travels into an unknown world. Then you enter uncertainty. You leave your comfort zone and you enter uncertainty. The hero experiences a series of trials that lead them to encounter the main enemy. Then the first, maybe in the example that is taken, somebody who was laid off, they try to apply for new jobs. They go to different companies, and it takes many weeks, and they did not find anything. And after that, invoices or bills start coming in, and they start having problems because they have consumed all their savings and so on, and they find themselves without anything, and sometimes they're fired from their home and so on. Then they face a lot of upheavals, a lot of difficulties, and they start doing something. Okay, they take the decision, or they make the decision to be on their own, to launch a small business, and they start overcoming little by little, overcoming those upheavals or those difficulties. And after that, they find themselves making more money than they used to make in their former job and so on. Then this is something that gives us the impression that we have to be optimistic about what is going on and so on, and we identify ourselves to what is going on. Then when somebody is facing a problem, it's not the end of the world, and we should show them light at the end of the tunnel. Then return, the hero returns home. Home is the same, but the hero has been fundamentally changed. And a lot of heroes, were normal people before facing some hardships, before facing some difficulties and challenges that pushed them to actually to go beyond what they thought they could do, and they became superheroes or superhumans. Okay, this is a framework actually to start with a situation that was stable, and after that go through many difficulties, trying to find out how to overcome them. And the more difficulties you overcome, the more powerful you become. and at the end, you become somebody completely changed through this process of facing those difficulties and those hardships. Another framework, and the framework that is more convenient and more suitable for family businesses and for businesses with a long experience that was created many years ago, for instance. They have something to say, they have a story to narrate, a story to share with their target. Then can say, for instance, that the company was created just in the aftermath of the Second World War, and it was created because in that village, for instance, people did not find products and so on, and they were obliged to travel 50 kilometers, for instance, to bring a product and so on. And the company started doing that product or manufacturing that product in there. Then you come up with a story that explains why the company was created and what the values of the company are, and how the company was sharing values with its neighborhood, how the company was caring about its community and so on. Then very important, again, to come up with those stories that would increase trust and trustworthiness of people in the company, because the company has been around for a long time. It means that the company is serious. This company has been offering value to its customers, and the company is a company that is embedded in its community, and it's a company that is trustworthy. And it's very important actually to share such stories with people. Then what's the company's story? Where and when was your company founded? What's your company's purpose, value, and culture? And you can add some images of the founders of the company, of the first trucks of the company, the first unit of production, and so on. It's always very touchy, very convincing, and very captivating for people to find out about the roots of that company they are doing, or the plan, or the intent to do business with. What does your company do? What does your company do? Why does your company do what it does? And so on. Then you give sense to what you are doing. The third framework is what is known as Freytag's pyramid. Then Freytag developed a 5-part narrative structure that you can use to structure your own story. Then exposition, first you start by describing the context of the company, its environment, and the settings and characters and so on. Rise in action, then you start talking about the conflict, the challenges, the difficulties, and the overarching challenge, which is very difficult to overcome, and how the company did, or how the person did, to overcome such overarching challenge. Okay, and you reach the climax at the peak. The protagonist here reaches a turning point. Then the conflicts reach their zenith, and they were able to overcome it by doing this and that, something that looks like the solution you are proposing to your clients, actually, to give them the perception that they are identifying themselves with the story you are telling them. And once the overarching challenge is overcome, you start your following action. Then you start reflecting about what happened and what lessons you are going to withdraw from that, and so on. And the resolution, the narrator resolves the issues and creates a sense of closure of that brand story. Then the last one that I would like to share with you, the last framework to structure your storytelling, Pixar story, which was developed by Emma Coates. And Pixar actually produces some movies mainly for kids. Okay, and Emma Coates came up with such a structure that works very well to structure that kind of stories. And It starts with once upon a time, and you say something. Once upon a time, an old man did and that and so on, and used to live in such an area and so on. Every day, the old man went to the sea to get some fish, for instance. And one day he found something, and he found a ring. He found a golden fish or something, and because of that, he did this and that. Okay, and until finally he became this and that. Then this is a kind, again, to structure a story. And if you go back to the stories we used to read when we were kids, you are going to find that this structure is well respected in most of the stories that we used to read when we were kids. Then it's a kind of structure that can be relevant to structure your own brand story. Then once your brand story is ready, check it for grammar, spelling, and syntax errors. Fix all the errors, reread the story again and again and again, and seek feedback and ask yourself where the story is boring, where is it captivating, what to add to it to make it more spicy, and so on. And after that, polish it by asking yourself if the narrative is clear, if the words used are all of them understandable. Don't use words that cannot be understood because the worst thing for somebody who is reading a story is to find that word, a word that would oblige them to go back to dictionary to learn up the word and so on, and to come back to complete or to resume reading the story. People don't have time actually to afford such an interruption. Then use simple words that can be understood easily. The story has to be authentic or something that is inspired from real and authentic facts. The story ends on a positive note. Avoid stories with a negative ending. The story statement includes concrete examples, then case studies or employee testimonials or something. The content is aligned with customer needs, then try to make, because the purpose here is to make your customers identify themselves with the story being narrated. Then it's not just a story to give them fun. It's not a story just to narrate without any purpose. It's a story whose purpose is to allow people to identify themselves with what is going on in the story. The content highlights conflicts and how these conflicts have been resolved. The text reflects the voice and tone of your brand, and again, the text states the vision of your company as simply as possible so that people can understand in what business you are, what solution you are proposing, and in what the solution you're proposing answers to the problem they are facing or satisfies the need that they are experiencing. Once you've done that, give the story to some family members or your colleagues or your friends. Ask them to give you a feedback about their feelings when reading the story, when they find that the story is boring, when they find that the story is captivating, and so on, and try to adapt the story accordingly. Then once you've done that, share your story, put it on all your platforms, the platforms you are present on, and you can present it in different ways. If you want to put it on YouTube, for instance, try to make a video, okay, of it. If you put it on LinkedIn, it will be plain text with some pictures or photos and so on. If you put it on Instagram, for instance, add some pictures, okay, so that you make it attractive and spicy. Then what information would you share on social media? Then a lot of people ask what content I'm going to put on social media. Then the first thing, you've got to ask yourself what you want to communicate through each of the chosen social networks. Then when you select the social network, the right one, and again, the right one is the one used by your target. Don't forget that. And there is no definition of what is a good and a bad platform. The good and bad platform depends solely only on what platform is used by your target customer. Then what do I want to communicate through each of the chosen social networks? Do I want to be entertaining, informative, inspiring, showcase my expertise, etc.? Then the content of your brand as well, brand story, has to be either entertaining if you are addressing maybe some kids or some young people, informative if you your target is to share information with your segment, and so on. A good editorial strategy consists of using each network according to its own purpose and within your means, of course. It is very important, actually, again, to choose the right one for the purpose you want to achieve. This is something that I like a lot because it gives us an idea about the peculiarities of each platform. Then on Twitter, you want, for instance, to talk about this bagel or a donut. You've got, this is a donut. Okay, then on Twitter, for instance, on platform X, you are going to say, I am eating a donut, because the purpose here is just to share the information that you are eating a donut. On Facebook, I like donuts, because they are going to talk about things that make sense to you most. On Foursquare, this is where I eat donuts. Then you're going to promote a place, a location where donuts are sold, and you can eat donuts there. On YouTube, here is a video of me eating a donut. I can hear because it's based on video, Austin, and so on. On Instagram, here is a vintage photo of my donut. On Pinterest, here is a pretty donut recipe. And recipe to make donuts or to use them in other dish, for instance. Imgur, here is a viral picture of my donut. On LinkedIn, my skills include donut eating. On Spotify, no listening to donuts. And on Google, I am a Google employee who eats donuts. And you see here that the message is adapted to each platform according to its own features and peculiarities. Then the information, the type of informational media, then we have here 10 types of attractive and engaging content for your social media. Then you've got to select the right ones for the platform that you have chosen. Some people can be motivated by finding an infographic that explains something and that shows the relationships between things. An infographic is a good means to communicate about the product, the service, and the solution that you're proposing and how it can resolve the problem or satisfy the need of your target. Image, then a lot of people, and mainly people using Pinterest, Instagram, for instance, and Snapchat, love images. Live video, and here it's mostly about YouTube, but not only. We have also other platforms that allows for videos, for video uploading. Storytelling, and they said that is something that a lot of people love, okay? Podcast, customer testimonial, because a lot of people would rely mainly on customer testimonial to make their own decision about buying or not buying from you. because they would trust most customers rather than the company itself. Contest, you can propose a contest. You can propose codes. You can propose something to be shared with customers. Like this is what we call sometimes the lead magnet. You propose something that would attract people to visit your page or to visit your website and to download an ebook or to find something for free, for instance, and so on. Last part of this presentation, how to encourage client engagement. And we said before that when you write a compelling brand story, it's your first step to engage people and to get them attracted to what you are saying and to increase their engagement and their involvement in what you are presenting. You could further increase customer engagement by using a method like a story arc. When writing your brand story, you can use something that would attract customers' attention, which is really important and sometimes unexpected. And it presents a kind of turning point in the story you are telling people, and people would get attracted to what you are saying to find out about how that turning point was dealt with. Framework, we said that you can use one of the 4 frameworks proposed in this presentation to structure your story, because it's very important to have something that is structured and that makes sense for people. Then sticky details, sometimes give some details that would increase memorability and increase visibility by emphasizing cliché and vague descriptions, and try to create a brand personality through the brand story that you are narrating, that you are telling people, and keep everything simple. It's very important to keep everything simple because people are more and more in a hurry. They don't have time to read long articles. They don't have time to watch long videos. Myself, whenever I find a video and it goes beyond the 7-10 minutes, I don't watch it. Then try to keep everything simple, try to be straightforward, try to answer the questions that your target may be asking themselves very quickly and in a straightforward way, so that people cannot get bored by watching something that is long, and people don't have time actually to waste watching something that is long or reading an article that is too long. Then again, you can optimize your engagement, customer engagement through the publications that you're putting on all the platforms, the stories that you are sharing with them, interacting with customers by answering their comments. If somebody makes a comment, it would be a good thing to react to it and to interact with it and to seize the opportunity of that comment to open a kind of debate and ask people to join the debate and to give their ideas and viewpoints about it. Encourage customers to share your story by sharing it or by republishing it with their own network, and monitor social media statistics to see which versions of your story captures most attention, on which platform, and so on. And this is something that will give you a lesson or an idea about what to do next time if you want to publish something else. And monitor and analyze your metrics to find out about who is visiting, how many times, how many people return to your page to revisit again, and so on. At the end, some takeaways, some key important takeaway messages. First, the choice of social network for adoption by the company is not a real choice. It's contingent upon your vision, the objective, types of clients, and messages that you want to communicate through that channel or that network. Each network has its own peculiarities, attributes, objectives, types of users, editorial guidelines, and this is good news because you will not be dazzled by choosing many channels or many platforms and you don't know which one is the right one. Then here you have the peculiarities, and if you know very well your target, if you know very well your customer, you know which one they are using, and you are going to increase your visibility on it. Content to be posted on social networks must be tailored to each network, but consistent overall. The consistency is very important, but consistency does not prevent from adapting the content to each social network. Both adaptation to the networks and coherence or consistency should be guided by the brand strategy. Then it's very important actually to have a brand strategy because it would drive everything you're doing and it would give it consistency so that there is no misinterpretation, no overlapping between what you are doing in a place as opposed to or as compared to another place. The content should revolve around the compelling and effective brand story and visuals to enhance the quality of the content and the brand story. And they said that a text with visuals is more captivating, more attracting than plain text. Then that's what I wanted to share with you this afternoon. Thank you very much for your attention. And if you have any questions, they would be more than welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you a lot, Mr. Allali, for this really good presentation. I think we'll have a very informal Q&A session now. So if you have questions, don't hesitate either to raise your hand or to put the question in the chat, and then we can answer those questions. We have one question, but I'm guessing that was at the beginning of the training, where the question was, is it necessary to have an account on all these platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn? I think, Mr. Allali, you already covered this, saying it's really, you don't have to. You have to choose the right social media platform that is right for your business and right for your target market. Is that?
Exactly. Okay.
Then
you don't have to be present on all the platforms. Choose only the platforms that are used by your target, by customers, then so that you can find them. Then if you, for instance, if you sell meat, you are not going to try to market meat in a market dedicated to groceries, for instance. Then you've got to be in the place where your customers are. Then choose only platforms and don't overstretch yourself. Start by the most important networks where most of your customers are. And after that, you can expand to other networks progressively in one step at a time, so that you can increase your visibility on all the channels where your customers are, but not the channels where your customers are not.
Thank you for that. Just to give a practical example, if you want, from my experience, I am very active on LinkedIn because in Europe, for the professional network, what my job is to help exporters, to help you, to identify buyers, identify market needs. So it's important for me to find the buyers, to follow them, and to see, the latest trends and the latest product. So in Europe, for instance, this target market, this target segment is active. Those importers, agro-food importers, they are active on LinkedIn, for instance. They're not active on Facebook. So Facebook for me is my personal network and LinkedIn is my professional network. But that's Europe. In Africa, again, Facebook is maybe sometimes more used, even from buyers. And you have to adapt to the type of buyers or the type of contact that you're looking for your business. So let me see. We have one question for Mr. or Mrs. Yamikani. Mr. or Mrs. Yamikani, if you want to unmute so we can, yes, I think you can
Yes.
hear. Yes,
Yeah,
we
you
can
can
hear
hear me?
you. Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. My question was in line with, so there was a slide that was explaining how different platforms of social media use different types of languages. Like you can talk about liking a donut, but then in different ways, in different aspects. So my question is, as a business owner, do you really have to rephrase your message for every platform? Because I feel like it would be a bit tedious rather than for me to just use one information and spread it across. Or so would it be advisable for me to still restructure according to the social media platform that I'm using, or I would have to it's okay. I can just throw it as it is because I have created a generic message. Thank you. I hope that was clear.
No, that was very clear. I will let Mr. Allali answer
Yeah.
first.
Thank you for this important question. Actually, depends on the platforms you want to promote your products on or you put your message on. If you are talking about LinkedIn and Facebook, we said that you can share the same content. If you publish something or you post something on Facebook, for instance, you can share it with your page on LinkedIn and vice versa. If you are talking about putting the same message, for instance, on Facebook and on YouTube, it doesn't work. Then you've got to adapt your message and the content according to the features of each platform. But as I said before, some platforms rely mostly on visuals. For instance, you have something on Instagram and you want to publish it on Snapchat. You can do it without any adaptation or with minor adaptation. If you have video and you publish it on YouTube and you want to give access to it on LinkedIn, it's okay. But it's recommended that you add some text as well. Then again, the main message here is to take into consideration the attributes, the features of each platform when trying to put a content on that platform. You can ask yourselves whether there are some peculiarities that you have to take into consideration, or you can share the same message, the same content without any adaptation. I don't know if I've addressed your question.
Yes, you have. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Brahim, for that. Absolutely. I mean, for Twitter, so X network now, there is a limit in terms of character and words, if I'm not mistaken. So you cannot use, if you do a proper, not article, but a proper description of an activity or maybe a new packaging you have or a new product you want to launch, you will need to adapt. If you post it on Facebook or LinkedIn, you're not limited. If you're posting on Twitter X, you are limited. So it also goes back to, is it a picture? Is it a video? As Mr. Allali said, is it text? So there is a degree of adaptation according to which social media you will be using. Miss Yamikani, does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you. We have another question in the chat from Miss Naomi. Miss Naomi is asking, are there good example of story brands that we can look at?
Yeah,
If I may, yes. In my line of work, in terms of agri-food products, usually the large importers, the large agro-food companies, if you research them on LinkedIn or other social media, their marketing, their branding is good. The storytelling, we can share some example, but usually if you look at, the big guys, usually they have a good online presence because they understand the importance of it, and they understand that having their product on the shelf in a market is not enough nowadays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
while listening to you, Frederine, and you're totally right. I was just looking on Google on some examples. I know some of them, but looking for Google, and gives me a lot of examples to get inspired by, with tips and templates as well. I can share my screen again with you, so that you see the site I am on. I don't know if you see my screen here.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, then you have here proudly 15 brand story examples to get inspired by, with tips and templates. And here you have mini brand stories you can get inspired by. Okay, and you have other tips as well to find out about. I don't know if it can go back, and here 13 brand story examples, and you have here 6 best examples of brand stories. Then just type brand stories, and you're going to find a lot of them here. That some of them, or most of them, are structured according to one or the other of the frameworks that I presented when I was talking about brand stories.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Mr. Allali. Do we have any other questions? Don't be shy. Just raise your hand, and any questions you may have, or any from also learning from your experience. If maybe I will share one of my experience with social media. So what I do is I try to identify buyers, importers of agri-food in Europe, and then I follow them on LinkedIn, for instance. And it allows me to first to get to know the company, to understand, what is important to them, what type of product they do, but also by following your potential buyers on social media, sometimes they give you really excellent information. Sometimes they go to a trade fair and they will post that they will be present at the trade fair. They're looking to meet exporters. If you cannot travel to that trade fair, that's okay, because they still provide their personal mobile number or their direct email contact information. So that's, I think, one of the example of the advantages of trying to find out who are your buyers, and follow them. It's not just about your company. You should be showcasing your company and your product, but it's also a tool for you to find new buyers and new contact or new technical partners. So that's just, yeah, I wanted to share that with you. Let me see. I don't see any. We will share. We have a question from Miss Elena. Yes, do not worry. We will share the presentation with all of you. We will share the recording also. So if you missed anything, in the next few days, it will be shared by my colleague. Any other questions, or anyone who wants maybe to raise their hand or share their experience? Faith, you may want to launch the poll. Yes. So in the meantime, don't hesitate to ask question, to share. Let me see. And I mean, in my line of work, it's to do with helping exporters of agri-food, around the world. As Mr. Allali said, you can really see the professionalism of a company in their use of social media. So like Mr. Allali said, the information you provide on your company must be of equal quality, equal information, equal content from, I don't know if you have a web page or LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever. Because nowadays, when you meet a buyer or a potential buyer, the first thing they will do is they will check your presence online. They will go, and if you have a Facebook page, they will go and see if you have a website. If you have a brochure, the information you have on the brochure should meet the information you have on the social media. And then really the idea is to get into the habit of posting. It can be very simple once you started, when you've selected a platform. As I say, if you're launching a new product, new packaging, if you're entering a new market, you have any news about your company, maybe you have passed some certification, you can post about it. Maybe you are starting to export to a new market, you can post about it. It doesn't have to be long nor difficult. It's just get the habit and to get the buzz and the activity created around your social media network. So do we have Mrs. Timbaye, you unmuted? Do you have any question for us, or is everything clear for you? I think that's okay. Okay, Faith, do you want to say any final words before we close the training?
Just want to encourage the participants to take the poll. It should have appeared
Yes, it did.
on your screen.
It did.
In terms of the numbers, not a lot of them have responded, so would be grateful if you could just choose a response. And also that our next session is on the 18th of July, and we would encourage you all to participate.
And the next session is on building your awareness as an agri-food exporters on the food safety certifications. What are they? Like HACCP, ISO, organic, and so on, just for you to understand what is included, what is required from you as your company in terms of certifications, because maybe right now you are selling on your domestic market and your buyers are not asking for it, but then the day you want to develop your exports within the regional market or beyond, this is one of the questions you are going to get. And this is one of the questions that the buyers are going to ask you. So the next session, the next training will be on those, let's say, leading food safety certification that are applicable to agri-food and agri-food processing. Okay, so if we don't have any more questions, I want to say a big thank you to Mr. Allali for his presentation. Thank you to Miss Sonia who helped with the support of this. And then we will see each other again in July.